What up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Average Joe's X's and O's podcast. Max and Nick here with you for another show. And hey, Super Bowl's coming.
It's around the corner.
On its way. We'll get into breaking those games down soon here. Before we get there, we'll just, open up the show with some bullshit, I guess you could say. I want to talk about UFC, though, because I know Nick here doesn't really watch too much of it, but I kind of keep up with it. I'm a fan. Don't know why I'm a fan. It's very there's something weird about seeing people get kicked and punched in the face. I don't necessarily like it, but I still watch it. I don't know why. But it was a big fight this weekend. We had Conor McGregor stepping back into the octagon with against Poirier for the second matchup, and it's funny. I had like you were talking about doing stocks before we were rolling this, and like I got some friends that bet, and it's one thing. Like I'll bet on some football games. You know what I mean? It's hard to do a parlay, right? But I've had people who were like, "Oh, like who should I put my money on in these two fights?" And I'm like, "Hey, man, MMA is fucking hard, especially if you're like in that top 5. It's like you just never fucking know. Like any given day, I think these top dudes can beat the shit out of each other, right?" So like that's one thing I would never bet on, and it's funny because like my the co-main event, was featuring a fighter that came over from Bellator, so it was like a big fight for him. He was fighting a top contender, ended up winning. My buddy, my roommate, wanted to bet so bad, and he's like, "Oh, I'm betting on Hooker," and then dude gets knocked out. I'm like, dude, I told you, dude. That's why don't bet on fucking MMA. That shit's hard unless you just have a gambling problem and have at it. But I thought it was a pretty good card, entertaining. McGregor got knocked out first time in his career, which, it is what it is. He took some nasty leg kicks, couldn't even stand on it, and ended up getting knocked out. It's part of the game, dude. Like, it is what it is. And in that first round, he was landing some shots too. So, like, I thought for the most part, it was fairly, even up until that point. But it was a good fight. I'm excited to see what they do with that weight class because it's like the most stacked weight class at 155 pounds in MMA in the UFC. So, yeah. We need to get you start watching that so we can break some of that shit down.
I know, man. I saw some of it. My favorite part about some of the things I saw was that they took the Bernie Sanders meme where he's like crossed it, and then he had what's his name choking out. They pretty much photoshopped him over McGregor.
That meme
choked out, so
is not really getting old. It's pretty funny. Internet's funny with that shit. I've been seeing that meme.
Stays undefeated, bro.
Dude.
Stays undefeated.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do in the future here with that for the belt for the 155-pound weight class. So I'll keep an eye on that. That was fun. I watched on Saturday and Sunday. Unfortunately, I had to work, so I did get to watch the first game in its entirety for well, first of all, I didn't know out here, the time difference. The game started at 1 p.m. and I didn't even know. So I missed a little bit of it.
Oh, there you go.
I went to work early. I got food, went there, had it on TV, and I was just like watching and eating. So I saw, we'll get into breaking down the games, I guess, or some other shit we want to cover first. But I basically got to saw that fucking touchdown pass before the half, which was like, how do you let that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, well, we'll get to that. But I don't know where you want to start first. We want to start with some. It's been some hires since last week.
Yeah, man, we got a few things. Anthony Lynn's officially a Detroit Lions OC, which is good for him. Good to land. Pretty much just a landed job. I think a lot of people were maybe hoping he got another head coaching opportunity, but maybe kind of groom a little bit, do the OC thing. I think that'll be a good offensive coordinator hire. But it was just funny because he gets hired, and then like 2 hours later, it's like, all right, hey, congratulations, you got Matt Stafford to work with, blah blah blah. And then 2 hours later, boom. Oh, we're mutually parted ways, and we might be trading Matt Stafford. And it's like, oh, well, sorry, Anthony Lynn, But, that was some big news, too, honestly, with all that going down. And then, like you mentioned before we started, they also bring in John Dorsey. I don't know I can't remember. Do you know exactly what his role is that they're intended for?
I'm pretty sure he's the GM. I could be wrong, but I thought it was a GM role.
I thought so too, or like some sort of personnel role, which is good because with what he's was able to accomplish in Kansas City and then subsequently with Cleveland, that's going to be good for talent acquisition for Detroit. So despite Matt Stafford leaving and possibly be traded to who knows where, it gives them some opportunity for talent acquisition there for Anthony Lynn to work some magic there. So
Yeah, I mean,
pretty big hire.
obviously the Browns fired John Dorsey. Browns fans know John Dorsey very well, and but he did land on some. He did get some talent in there. And even when he was, Kansas City is stacked right now and about going in their second, potentially going to win the maybe back-to-back Super Bowl. And most of those players that are elite were because of Dorsey and who they drafted. So, he definitely knows how to find talent, clearly. I think he got in trouble with Kansas City with the cap situation, apparently. And with Cleveland, I think it was just one of those things where, the Freddie Kitchens thing, honestly, probably fucking did him in. But, yeah, so kind of interested to see what they're going to do, especially losing Matt Stafford. And, the fucking Lions basically wrote – I've seen some articles on it, and I kind of agree. Kind of like what they did with Barry Sanders. They made the playoffs a few times, I think, but they pretty much wasted his career in terms of winning seasons and getting into a Super Bowl. And Matt Stafford kind of the same way. Lions fans will say that because I've talked to a couple of them, they love him and hate him at the same time. But it's like, dude, besides Megatron, it's like I feel like he has never had any weapons really put around him to do anything with. And but he statistically, he's been pretty efficient his whole fucking career. So and he's played through injuries, so you can't knock him for that. But he's going to be an interesting guy, man. The rumors right now are potentially the Colts being interested in getting him, which I think would be great. I think instantly. I think the Colts will be right back where they were with that defense. I think they'll be a playoff team, maybe NFC Championship. We'll see.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of different options.
Are they AFC or NFC?
Who, the Colts or AFC?
AFC, yeah, they'll be there.
So and I saw potential Denver Broncos as a team that could potentially be involved with it too. So anywhere he goes, he's still got some time left. And he's going to be a solid quarterback for at least another 4 to 5 years. Now, what you get out of him as far as compensation, like if he is traded, that's going to be a big question mark. I'd imagine it is at least a first-round pick. Mm-hmm. But, you got to be willing to give that up for 4 years of being a competitor, in the running for, hey, we got to make a run for a Super Bowl title because we have a guy that's proven to be a franchise guy.
It definitely depends on your situation. The Colts are there, so it would make sense for them to be all right, that's cool. We have a window open right now, so let's take those chances. Versus what was the other team you mentioned?
Denver, Indy.
Yeah, Denver's they're not, quarterback away. You know what I mean? Really. So I don't know if I'd give up. If I was them, I'd give up that, but
be a good guy for Drew Lock to learn, learn under.
If they even want to keep Drew Lock, I don't know. But yeah, it'll be interesting to follow that as well. And then, the latest rumors, we talked about Watson and where he might go, but it seems the rumors now are the Jets are on the top of the list.
Yeah,
which I know you hate.
I hate it. I just look at it from a standpoint of you invested the third overall pick in a guy that I don't think your head coach or your coordinator, your OC, and the staff that was in place before got anything out of. And now you're going to turn around and potentially give up 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson, who, has been a franchise guy. It's just the asset management for them has been, that would put a lot of things in question. And they're not just a quarterback away with that roster. Sure. They're multiple, they're multiple picks. And it's going to be difficult, but at the same time, with having Robert Saleh in there at the head coaching spot, might be an attractive spot for Deshaun to go in. So it's just as of late, they haven't been a very well-run organization, just like Houston hasn't been. So I can't
Like
see him
giving
like
up
just
all their picks.
buying in and
Yeah.
but just in general, or and then at that point having him buy in to what they're trying to accomplish there. So
Yeah.
to me, that might be a little bit of a risky play. I mean,
It's
if I'm the
tough.
Jets though, like as of now, he's an upgrade over what Sam Darnold is.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
I can absolutely understand why that connection would be made. Um, I just I think I know what Houston's going to be asking for Watson, and I don't know that they're really going to be ponying up and willing to
Yeah.
pony up what they're
Because
going
I
to
mean,
ask.
like use the Browns as an example, right? Like, yeah, like leading up to that 1-16 season, dude, like they had before Dorsey got there, they had accumulated all these draft picks, right? And those first couple of years were fucking brutal because, like, obviously they were so young, and it didn't really translate on the field until like now, right? Fast forward 3-4 years. So that process takes a fucking long time, and they were
Mm-hmm.
built through the draft. So to give away 3 first rounders to get a guy like Watson, which I mean he's one of the best. It just you gotta ask yourself, like, man, like we're probably gonna need those picks down the road. And because and that's how the NFL is different than any other sport. Like, I mean, yeah, not every first round pick is some of them are busts, but they're more crucial to a team than like the NBA, So yeah, it's definitely something to think about. And I would imagine that a team, like we said about Stafford, who's kind of almost there, like, I don't know what San Francisco could offer up, but, to get a guy like Watson where it's like, hey, like a quarterback for us could make all the difference. So, and I think San Francisco might be one of those teams. Dude, I mean, there's been a lot of speculation about the Rams right now with Jared Goff. So, like, I don't know if they'd move on for Goff right now. But like, I don't know, would you be surprised if like that something happened there where
No, because I did see that they have an open competition right now with him and the other guy that
do
they
they?
have. Yep. So it's going to be an open competition with them.
I did not know that.
So that's going to be interesting.
Fuck,
I
dude.
think.
That's why people were talking about like
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers going back to California. We can get into that too when we
Yeah.
break down these games.
I mean, yeah, that was an interesting press conference, and I have some thoughts on that too. But
I mean, is there anything else to cover before we can jump into these games?
I mean, honestly, outside of that, the news is going to be fast and furious, and once we get some more dominoes are going to fall once Houston makes their pick,
Yeah.
and then
Who'd they hire? They hired a head coach, didn't they?
who Houston? No, Philadelphia hired Nick Sirianni, the
That
OC
was the OC from the Colts, right?
for the Colts. Yep. Funny story about that. So when I was younger, growing up in the middle of nowhere, Jamestown, New York area, where nobody knows, where that is or, what the hell even happens out there. I used to watch my cousin play football, and this was, again, back in the day, and he actually played against Nick Sirianni at Southwestern, so I actually got to see him and his brother both play, and they were fantastic players. But
Oh shit.
so I watched this dude. His whole family is a family of coaches. I'm pretty sure his brother still coaches at Southwestern. It's either his brother or his dad. And it's just funny because, I watched that and then never a million years would I think this kid that's playing quarterback against my cousin is going to be an NFL head coach one day. And here we are, 2021, and Nick Sirianni is a head coach. What he does there is going to be it's going to be fun. if for whatever reason the Bills are terrible next year, like I'll be pulling for the Eagles just because of him. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's a connection that I never thought, I'd have there. But
How old is he?
pretty cool. 30.
Oh, he's young.
Hold on, I'm not sure. He might
Well,
be.
he's got to be. He's got to be either early 40s or late 30s if that's the case.
Yeah,
but it's interesting because of the fact that the Eagles wasn't really just with like everything that's gone on. It sounded like with the owner, like it wasn't really like a place where that was highly coveted by other coaches. But I mean, hey, they do got Jalen Hurts, young quarterback, and I don't know, but that'll be interesting to see what he can do there with. I don't know.
He's 39, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, still that's pretty young for a head coach. I feel like still if you're in your 30s.
Oh yeah.
But there, and then there's another thing we didn't talk about is like, I mean, is Wentz going to stay? Is Wentz going to go? Do we think Wentz can revive his career somewhere else? I mean, probably. I mean,
well,
I don't know.
I look at this hire more of they're going to keep Wentz and try to revive his career type of deal. But they very well could just be like, all right, dude, you're out. We're going to roll with Jalen Hurts. But they
got to free up cap room too, don't they?
Yeah, everybody does.
Yeah.
There's not very many teams that are in very good situation there, but I think a lot of it's going to be, who's going to run that style of offense the best, and it's a lot of play action. It's got a lot of, just think about what the Colts did this year, offensively with a good balance with running and passing, a good amount of play action. Not necessarily a ton of vertical throws, but a lot of quick game stuff, and I think you're going to see a very similar approach with what Sirianni tries to do, but it's going to be the effort's going to be a quarterback friendly offense, and I think you can salvage what Carson Wentz is as a player with that, and they're gonna predicate everything on having a strong line of scrimmage. Both sides of the ball. They already got a strong line of scrimmage on the defensive side of the ball, but I think he's going to really prioritize, the offensive line, and I think that's going to be a thing that they look at, and that's why I think Indianapolis had a good deal of success this year. Their offensive and defensive lines were fantastic. So interesting hire. I will be pulling for him outside of the Bills next year too.
How do you feel? I can't remember if we talked about it, or if this was before we started recording, but how do you feel about the D coordinator from the Bills potentially leaving?
Yeah, he's a candidate for the Houston job. Good for him. I think Leslie Frazier.
Why does his name sound so familiar?
He was a head coach for the Vikings.
That's right. Got you.
I think he got a bad rap there a little bit.
Yeah.
I think, it could have been one of those things that maybe he wasn't necessarily prepared to be a head coach at that point in time. But now with multiple more years of experience under his belt, his style's a little different than some coaches. But I think with what him and Sean McDermott have been able to do in the Bills organization, I think he's going to attempt to carry a lot of that over to Houston in that regard. And that would be one of those hires because he is a player's coach that could salvage the relationship with Deshaun Watson. So, I think there's a lot of benefit to it, and it makes a ton of sense. I don't want to see him leave because the continuity within an organization, I feel like, is vastly underrated. And I think that's something that, the Bills could really build on defensively going into the offseason with some needs. So, it'd be sad to see him go, but I'd be pumped for him because he absolutely deserves it. And if you listen to any of the press conferences from Bills players after this last week, they'll reiterate the same thing. And, he could very well spin Houston into a relevant organization because he does things the right way.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things, but, sad to see him leave, but be pumped for him at the same time. Kind of just like one of those deals.
I mean, it makes you wonder what Houston's doing just because of the fact that, I think I texted you when I saw it scroll across the screen there last week. And a lot of the reactions kind of the same, but when it came across the screen that, Josh McCown interviewed for head coaching position, it's like, wait a minute, dude. What? Why is that?
Why?
insane.
My reaction was literally, "Are you fucking kidding me?" That was literally what my reaction was like.
I mean,
Are you
it's not a
fucking
knock on
kidding me?
him, but it's like, bro, he just got done playing, and
I
coaching ain't
can't
the same. I mean, you can't just
for a head
like
coaching job,
like even Tom Brady. It's like that. It's insane. It's not the same thing.
Like you're telling me Eric Bieniemy can't get a coaching job, but Josh fucking McCown can just like emerge off the street,
And get an
like
interview. It's like what?
one year from being the leading passer and rusher for the New York Jets, and now here we go. We're just gonna be a head coach. Like, come on, man. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense to me. It's almost like there's a certain standard in the NFL or a double standard in the NFL when it comes to that sort of deal. So like maybe, paying your dues isn't necessarily a thing
I don't think
that
so.
is, consistent.
I mean, one of the things we're seeing, and we've seen it for a long time now, and I bring this up whenever the Cardinals hired fucking, is it Killsbury, whatever the fuck his name is?
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah. Dude, like in the Big 12, they were like, oh, he's got these crazy offenses. He's never even won a Big 12 championship.
Bro, if you look at his record, even as a head coach, like, it was we got to bring some innovation to this offense, but it's like that's fine, but like,
who cares if you scored 66 points? You lost fucking 66-70.
Who's the Lincoln Riley out of Oklahoma would have probably been. But you want to bring innovation, bring the guy that literally took, Jalen Hurts and Baker Mayfield and develop these guys like into elite offensive weapons. Like, you want to bring innovation, bring that motherfucker along.
Right.
Like
3 quarterbacks back to back that started in the NFL in the same year. Like,
yep.
Huh?
So to me, yeah, exactly. So, Josh McCown thing would be hilarious.
The point I'm making is like, and this is true in just in life in general, but like, it's always about who you know, man. Like, regardless, obviously you got to have some skill, but like, the people who are more skilled might not get hired based on just maybe they don't know enough people or they're not buddies with. Your network's fucking huge, and like the NFL just seems to be like a buddy system almost, where the owners are hiring their boys. So, I mean, that's the only explanation I could fucking give for the reason why McCown even is getting a fucking interview.
What?
I mean, look at Deuce Staley is requesting to leave the Eagles because he's been wanting to move up. I can't remember what his role was, but I think he wants to be an OC, and he's kind of paid his dues now. He's been coaching for a while, and I think now he's because he played with the Eagles, he was a fucking stud running back, and he wants to go find an opportunity elsewhere because he's not getting his shot. He paid his fucking dues. So
yeah. Well, you know what these coaches need to do? You want to be a reclamation project as a coach? Just go fucking coach in Alabama for a couple of years, and then you'll be, at the top.
You see all the NFL guys going there right now. It's like fuck.
Yep. Well, you got right. Fuck you want to be in a good position. Like go to Alabama, groom as a coach for a couple of years, and then come back, and now you're an OC or DC somewhere.
Yeah,
that just seems to be the thing.
But
if it fails, guess what? You go back to Alabama and just win national championships.
Or another big time school in college offers you the gig, which you have way more control at the college level, and B, you get paid just as much or more than you do at being in the NFL.
Yeah, it might even be less stressful.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. We're gonna find out. We'll see if Nick Saban or if what's his face, Urban Meyer has a heart attack this year. I don't know. You don't even
have to pay the college biddies to give you blowjobs in your office. Like it's just in the NFL you do.
Lane Kiffin,
right?
He's the one that popped in my head. But yeah. Before we break down the game, I'm just going to go on a little rant here because I brought it up before and I keep seeing it, and I told you about this, and it blows my fucking mind. And it's not even
I could see the smoke coming out of your ears, like ready to get this off your chest.
It's not even just national media, dude. It's Cleveland media. Like the Cleveland media, I don't even know how these fuckers get jobs. I don't know how they get money because like they're like the most negative media groups like ever. Like Daryl Ryder, that fucking retard, who basically went on a Steelers radio and was like, "Oh, they're going to get whooped," and then like, fuck that guy. But anywho, I keep seeing articles and everybody, oh well, they should trade OBJ to the fucking Jets and like they should trade Javaris Landry, and it's like, what are you talking about? We just went 11-5, best fucking season in 30 years, whatever, after just sucking massive dick for so long. And you want to get rid of our best players? Like Javaris Landry isn't just, maybe he's not the receiver that's going to catch fucking 30 touchdowns in a, you know what I mean? But like he gets you the tough yards that you need to get first downs. And he's like, he changed that culture. If you didn't watch that Hard Knocks when he got there, like he does so much more on and off the field than someone might think, you know what I mean? Like, I just think it's asinine to trade either of them. I think I even touched on it last week about OBJ specifically, but and then not only that, like there's a fucking dude, there was articles about like, oh, well, the Browns should get Deshaun Watson. And like, it's like, what are you talking about? Like Baker balled out this year. Like, come on. Like this doesn't make any fucking logical sense. You know what I mean? You're talking about, or bringing, I saw one where it was like, oh, Aaron Rodgers to Cleveland. It's like, huh? Like, what are we talking about here? That makes no fucking sense at all to me. I don't understand. Like, you just write an article to write an article. Like, I just don't understand, like, journalism nowadays. Sports journalism, regular journalism, I don't understand. Like, it's like you don't have to have credibility. And it's just like I don't, like, what are these people doing? Like you're just trying to get eyeballs. Like, I don't know. Like, it makes no fucking sense.
Let's hash this out, right? Well, I'll be your therapist here a little bit. What logical sense would it make to trade productive players on a team that won a ton of games this year in a year where not only are you having a shortened offseason to scout players, and we talked about this in the last episode.
Yeah.
Your offseason schedule and your offseason program is going to be vastly skewed because of the pandemic from a draft standpoint.
Yeah.
You're telling me you're trading these guys, the cap space is going to be a ton lower, that could probably be the reason. Hey, we're paying these guys a ton of money, but then you're talking about bringing in fucking Aaron Rodgers that's going to make how much more money than what Baker Mayfield's making?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Like that, I feel like that cap space would, pretty much equate to what OBJ and Jarvis Landry have as far as, money-wise. Quote me on that because I don't have it in front of me. But, that doesn't make any sense to me from that standpoint. So you're gonna do that and bring in, Aaron Rodgers. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is pissed in Green Bay because he was throwing to, Devontae Adams and a bunch of scrubs? Oh, now you just traded away Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham, and now he's coming in to throw to Rashard Higgins as his number one. Like,
right.
You guys don't make any fucking sense there. So, like, it's one of those deals that I think it's just something to talk about. They should do this. Here's why.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone really buy it? You know what I mean? Like, is that something people are buying, like AMC stock right now, or is that something that people want to just throw out the idea? And it's an interesting conversation because of where the team was when OBJ was playing, and like, oh, they weren't winning football games. Well, like, okay, there's a lot of factors that go into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I feel like the Browns were still trying to find their stroke. You know what I mean? Like
right when he got hurt.
Right when he got hurt, and then they did. Mm-hmm. Imagine putting OBJ in that offense,
right?
When they had shit figured out.
Yeah, scary.
You guys still might be playing,
maybe,
but I wouldn't read too much into it.
Yeah,
man.
The only thing that I would consider, like if you're going to trade a guy like OBJ, only thing that I would think you would need in return is an elite pass rusher. And guess what? There are none, and no team in their right mind. Because I mean, that's one of the more important things you need to build, a team to make the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl is you need edge rushers. So like, nobody's going to fucking trade a Bosa or like, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be an even trade. So like,
right.
that ain't going to happen. So therefore it's like, there's no point for me to, for that. So it's just crazy, dude. It's super crazy. And like, we'll get into it. I mean, the first game we can break down since I mentioned Aaron Rodgers, we can kind of get into that. Because I think Aaron Rodgers does have a right to be kind of pissed off. I mean, Green Bay hasn't fucking, and it's been talked about a lot. And I mean, I agree with it. Like you drafted, what's his name? Jordan Love? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like your first pick. And I can't remember where they picked him. Was it mid-pack, middle of the draft? Like 14 or 16 or something like that?
It was the first round. Yeah, it was like middle.
It was first round.
Yeah, it was in the middle. It was like in the middle. I think it was around 16, I believe.
Like, dude, you could have got – I'm going to look that up right now. Let me see that draft award. 2000 –
I mean, guys, I'm pretty sure guys like Henry Ruggs were available. Like they had some.
That's what I'm looking. That's exactly what I'm.
Judy, like
exactly what I'm looking up.
That game, though, man, like that was a fun one to watch. I'll put it this way: I thought Green Bay would have been a little bit more competitive early on in that game than what they were, but Tampa Bay's defense is no joke. Like,
yes, I agree.
They're no joke. We kind of talked about it as far as like what their DVOA standings were, and where they rated going into that game. They're no joke, and it was tough sledding for Aaron Rodgers. They couldn't run the ball that effective. It was a lot of missed opportunities there in that game. And then credit Tom Brady for, being able to make the most out of the opportunities he had. But he did try to pretty much give the game away. It kind of got a little sloppy at times, with the interceptions and things there. So it was that one was fun to watch though, like especially with Green Bay having the opportunity to come in at the end. And the questionable decision making at the end of the game, like there was some things that I think, in retrospect and in hindsight, there that they would have changed. Your thoughts on the very end of the game sequence where they decide we're going to kick a field goal with more than 2 minutes left in the game and try to get back down the field and score again?
I'll give you that in a second. I just looked it up. Packers actually drafted Jordan Love at 26, so it was a little later in the draft. So there were some of those top receivers went before them. However, in the beginning of the second round, T. Higgins was pretty solid as a rookie for Cincinnati. He probably would have played in with Green Bay pretty well. Like, let's see here. Fucking Chase Claypool went in the second round. So like, basically the point we're making is like, fucking, they could have went and gave Rodgers some kind of a weapon on offense. You know what I mean? Other than,
does that push him over the edge in this game though?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like okay, we'll get, because this just popped in my head. Not only that decision, but like people are bringing up. Start with the decision first to kick the field goal, right? Initially, I was like, what are they doing? And then also, like, if you're the head coach and up to that point in the game, right? Like Brady had thrown 3 interceptions, right, in the second half, complete opposite from the first half, right? Green Bay have got back into the game. Defense started playing a lot better. The head coach, I mean, obviously I can't predict what he was thinking in his head, but at that point, you're like, hey, my defense is playing pretty well right now. We have Aaron Rodgers, so like a minute on the or 30 seconds to a minute to go win the game is, Rodgers can do it. Let me take these points here and then we'll play defense because we're playing well right now. And, that pass interference call, which people were bitching about, but hey, man, if you have a clear hold on a shirt like that, like they're going to call it 9 times out of 10, probably 10 out of 10. They're going to call that interference, right? Green Bay stops him, gets the ball back with some time on the clock. So, that didn't happen. They've got the pass interference call, and it was pretty much for the most part, I think.
That was a wrap at that point.
Yeah. So, like, we're saying he made the wrong call because of that penalty, right? But who knows? Like, they had enough time to go score, And then the other thing is people are like, oh, Aaron Rodgers could have ran it in, kind of. This is exactly why the podcast is called Average Joe's X's and O's. We can watch that tape and be like, oh, dude, he could fucking run it into the end zone. It's like, really? Like, that easy, huh? Like, we just assume like he saw that, Like, he's running for his life right now. Like, he's a kind of a gunslinger, right? Like it looks open to us, but like we're not playing quarterback either. So like maybe he didn't. I'm
not gonna sit there and fault him 100% for that. Here's in that situation, and I forget who it was that broke this down. You need to know the context of it.
Mm-hmm.
Was Aaron Rodgers told, if it's not there, we're kicking the field goal? And in that case, low risk pass to the end zone, maybe get a touchdown, maybe not. We kick the field goal.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what he was told, then yeah, there's no reason to sprint and take a hit and potentially get hurt. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like regardless of what happens, you're getting a field goal, and chances are, Aaron Rodgers with where the guys were there, like, you may not get in. And if you do get in, you're going to get popped.
And you mentioned how good Tampa Bay's defense is. Who's their star linebacker?
Devin White?
David. You're telling me he can't close that gap? You're telling me he can't close the gap at an angle?
Not just him. Devin White is like he was like one of the fastest linebackers coming out last year.
Yeah.
So but you got to think about when nobody knows. What was he told? Was he told, if you don't make it here? Maybe he wasn't told that. I don't know. It's one of those things. Now, if he was told, hey, it's 4-down territory, we're going for it, maybe you take off and get 5 yards and make that fourth and goal situation a 3-yard situation instead of a 8-yard situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where, the context of that decision matters. It almost seems like he either didn't know if he was going to have 4 downs, or he was told, hey, like, we're kicking the field goal regardless.
Yeah.
If you can get in the end zone, sweet. If not, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So, in retrospect, like, I'm not necessarily going to fault him for that move. Like, it is what it is. But it comes down to the coaching at that point in time.
Yeah.
And in that situation, here's the thing.
We're only debating this because of the pass interference call.
Right.
Really.
Right. And in that situation, you score a touchdown. Guess what? You just gave Tom Brady, who is notoriously the guy that can fucking drive down the field and score,
2 minutes
with his 2-minute king.
3 timeouts in 2 minutes.
Right. And you give him that much time with all those timeouts. Like, I don't know that you were put in a very good position to begin with. Like, it was almost, let's get the points, make a stop, force their hand here. Hey, run the ball 3 times, or hey, we need to make at least 1 stop and then get the ball back. I don't. Me personally, I probably would have been aggressive.
Yeah,
but that's just kind of how it is for me. Like, I would have been more on the aggressive side, take it or leave it. Hey, we're going for the game time. We're here and we're going to try to stop Tom Brady moving down the field. But because at that point you are possessing the football in that instance, and you don't know that you're going to possess the football after this current possession.
It almost reminded me of the Ravens-Browns game almost, when the Kansas City
Browns game, right?
Where Baker didn't get back on the field.
Well, it's just like, to me, it's, we have the ball now. We know we have the ball now. We don't know if we're going to have the ball 2 minutes from now.
Yeah.
We just don't know that. So to me, I would have tried to score there. Hopefully you get a stop, right? Because what's the worst that happens? What were they down? 8 points in that situation?
Yeah.
You don't convert. Guess what? You're still only down a possession.
Yeah.
You still need a touchdown regardless of what you're doing. So, like, to me, the risk was, you don't go, or you go for it, You don't convert. Now you have Tampa Bay on the whatever yard line it is, 8-yard line, and you got to get a stop at the 8-yard line, and you've saved a ton of time. Or you kick the field goal and you don't get the ball back.
Do you think, though, also, like, because, 8 points, but do you think it's harder to make, like, I don't know what the percentage is on making a 2-point conversion, but making a 2-point conversion versus, getting 9 points off a touchdown and a field goal?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know what those stats are.
Again, to me, you have the possession right then and there. I would have been a little bit more aggressive, but that's just my thought. Like, you don't know that you're going to get the ball back with a chance to score again.
Yeah.
And a field goal's fine. But if somehow Tampa Bay gets, they get a first down, it's game over. Yeah. And now you're weighing that risk. So, but at the same time, like, it's one of those things that I don't think it would have mattered either way because Tampa Bay, like, they found a way to get a first down and found a way, they made it work. Like, in a must-have it situation, they made the play. The defense didn't step up. I don't think it would have made much of a difference regardless. But, for me as a viewer, I would have liked to see them be a little bit more aggressive as far as what Green Bay did in that last possession. And
like I said, this is all a discussion just because of a pass interference call, really. And a lot of people hated it, but hey, man, this ain't Deion Sanders era. You can't fucking hang on it.
Guess what? They throw an incomplete pass there, or there's no call there. You essentially saved yourself a timeout and you give yourself a chance, right?
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers is the Hail Mary King. So, like, it could have benefited them in that situation. So, but yeah, like you said, it boils down to we look at the end result and say, well, what happened? Now, if they end up getting the ball back and score a touchdown and win the game, guess what? Nobody questions that decision. So, it's just kind of you live with what you did there.
I'll tell you what, though, I'm kind of a little salty that they called that helmet to helmet. Not that they called it, but just now they call it, and not because it wasn't as bad as what the Kansas City Browns fucking helmet to helmet was. Let me tell you that.
NFL refereeing has been and officiating has been inconsistent all year.
Right? Can we get some consequences on these dudes? Like, can they?
The only thing they've consistently not called is offensive holding. Like, that's been the most consistent thing where they haven't.
That was another thing too. So the play and Green Bay actually got one because the play, it might have been the play where he threw it. That fourth down play where right before they kicked field goal. Because there was offensive holding, because dude had his fucking arm around the defensive tackle's neck, and they didn't call it. And I'm like, that would have taken him back. They got away with that one. So yeah, there was fucking clear.
That's the one thing they consistently haven't called all year.
And it blows my mind because, like, it's some obvious shit. It's like, dude, he's got him in damn near a headlock. What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, the one Tampa Bay had one where the guy literally had the whole dude's face mask as he was running by to sack Tom Brady, and there was like no call. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. No, it almost makes you think, man. There could be a little conspiracy there. I don't know what
well, it changed. I think the playoffs were let them play, and
they definitely
especially
do that in the
playoffs. It was more let them play, which hey, I'm fine with, man. The egregious shit call outside of the egregious shit, like let the players decide the outcome of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in the scope of that was a scrutinized call at the end of the game, as far as officiating goes. With the pass interference.
The pass interference.
Yeah. But you watch the review of it, it's like, well, yeah, the dude has – when you have a foot of fucking T-shirt being pulled out from behind a wide receiver.
At the undershirt, too.
Right. That's fucking holding holding at least, bare minimum.
Yeah.
That is a penalty.
Yeah.
Now, within the scope of how the game was called all game.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to call it now. It's like bail Tom Brady out on a last-second penalty now. Like, I can understand both sides of the argument, but there's no debating that was a penalty.
Yeah.
There's no debating it.
Yeah.
So, if it wasn't called, what do you think fucking Tampa Bay fans would have been doing?
Right.
Especially if Aaron Rodgers drives on the field and scores. Like,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Holy shit. That's the most controversial non-call in the game, at that point. So, I get it. Like, there were other the problem is that you had all game with opportunities to not let that one particular call affect the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
I mean, the fact that Green Bay was able to come back, I was really surprised. One of my managers is a Green Bay Packers fan, and like right at the half, whenever Tampa scores that touchdown, because he requested Sunday off, right? So he could watch the game, win or lose. He just wanted the Sunday off. And I text him, and it's just part of me just talking shit. I was like, hey, man. I was like, you might want to take the whole week off. And my other manager's like, no wonder why people fucking get irritated about you. I'm like, I'm just fucking having fun.
That's funny.
Yeah. So it's I just as good as Tampa Bay's defense is, and we'll talk about that in the preview of the Super Bowl, I'm sure, because I feel like that's going to be key. I am surprised Green Bay was able to come back from that, because I thought when they got down that far that they weren't going to be able to come back at all. But Tom Brady ended up throwing 3 picks, and but let's Green Bay probably should have capitalized off of, because I think they only got, out of those 3 picks, they didn't score that many points off of them, right?
I don't think so. No, yeah,
3 points.
It wasn't. Yeah,
I saw a stat, and this will play in when we break down the Super Bowl, but just in the playoffs alone, out of I think it was 7 takeaways that Tampa Bay's defense has, they've scored 41 points off of, which is fucking insane. Yep. But we'll talk about that when we break down the game. Let's go to the other game, your game, Kansas City and the Bills.
So
unfortunately, because I was working, like this one, I got kind of busy, so I wasn't able to watch a ton, even though the TV was on, because I got kind of busy. So you might have to do most of the breakdown here and kind of like fill everybody in on what do you think the biggest issue with the Bills was, despite just Kansas City being elite.
Biggest issue. I don't care who you are. If you allow 38 points in an NFL football game, chances are you're going to lose.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just all there is to it.
Yeah.
You could say the offense was stagnant. Josh Allen didn't really have that great of a game. Yeah, he didn't. It wasn't like what we've seen in previous games. The guy he was completing almost 70% of his passes all season, and he only completed 50% of his passes in this game. Part of it was they lost the line of scrimmage battle a ton. There were a ton of instances where they lost the line of scrimmage battle. The second part was,
I feel like, did you tweet about that, about the line of scrimmage?
Man, yeah. Games are won and lost there.
Dude. Yeah.
Both sides of the ball.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kansas City blew the defense off of the defensive line off of the ball, got 0 pass rush, and zone coverage, Travis Kelce is just going to fucking destroy you. Mm-hmm. Man coverage, who in the NFL matches up against Tyreek Hill in man coverage?
Nobody.
The Kansas City Chiefs provide a interesting enigma and a very difficult problem to solve when it comes to how you play defense against them.
Yep. Because even Hardman, dude, Hardman's a fucking speed.
Personnel wise, the only thing I could see is cover 0 pressure and try to confuse Patrick Mahomes. You put everybody at the line of scrimmage and you say, all right, we're either blitzing all these motherfuckers or we're actually going to drop some people out into zone coverage, or we're just going to play, whether it's quarters coverage, cover 3, cover 2, Tampa 2, whatever it is. We're putting everybody at the line of scrimmage, and we're going to have to make you decipher that as we have all these people here and you're changing protections. And the Bills don't have personnel to really run that. Tyreek Hill made all-pro corner Tre'Davious White just look silly. Mm-hmm. The dude is a freak of nature, and we all know this.
I think it's hard to gauge how fast he is. You know what I mean?
Right. But it's not even just speed, straight line speed.
Yeah.
His short area quickness, like the way he's able to just plant and go, and you get a plant and go, and he's at 20 miles an hour in 2 steps. Yeah. He's a unicorn. He really is. It's unreal to watch. It's like if you were to give Cole Beasley, who is one of those guys that's just a savvy route runner and very quick out of his breaks, 4.2 speed.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So they were overmatched defensively, which the only reason the first game that we played against them was somewhat close is because we fucking made them run the football. We took the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. Okay, you go into this game, try to do the same thing, but you know what they decided to do? They said, fuck it, you're gonna put us all in run looks. We don't care. We're still gonna throw the football. And they did. And Travis Kelce, with 9 catches in the first half for almost 100 yards, because you're running soft zone coverage, and he's literally, open spot, boom, there you go. Mm-hmm. Defensively, it was very difficult. And I think that played into how the offense performed in this game as well, because I think it almost made Josh Allen have to press. Like once things kind of started to get a little bit, Kansas City scored on back-to-back drives. Now you're down. Like it was, okay, now we got to press a little bit because we see what we're up against. And we see how badly the defense is getting torched here.
Yeah.
And it's not like, I mean, again, what do? You run a certain coverage, they just have an answer for it. And it's demoralizing when you finally get, oh, shit, we got to play. And Patrick Mahomes just does a little sidestep, able to break a clear sack and throw the ball away. It's like, fuck, man, we did everything right. And the one time Patrick Mahomes had to make a play, he did.
Do you think that the lack of running game kind of caught up to you in this game? Like a running game is something I think offensively a team might need. It's in some facets to help kind of beat Kansas City, because I think I kind of think it did, because I feel like you know just that Diggs and Allen connection is so great that like it can maybe be predictable, and like up until this point it wasn't stopped. And I think kudos to Kansas City's defense, like the plan they had in place for that seemed to work out pretty solid.
The whole thing about playing on the offensive side of the football is be efficient when the defense tells you, hey, this is an opportunity to be efficient. If the defense is going to give you a run look, you better fucking pick up 6 yards on that play. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And the system that the Bills run, it's not a super explosive system. It's efficient, yeah. Calculated shot. It's what the Patriots have run their entire fucking tenure.
Right.
When in the last 20 years of the Super Bowl era, it's the same exact system.
Yeah.
It's quick pass for 5 yards, convert first downs, which is it's why the Bills were one of the best offenses throughout the course of the regular season.
Time possession.
It's not just time of possession, but it was amount of first downs that you're able to convert, the efficiency of the offense. Like you have opportunities, you convert out of a possible 25 first downs you could potentially get in the game, and you could convert 22 of them. Like that's an efficient offense, and it allows you to drive down the field and score points.
Where's that defense?
Right. So in that case, if the defense gives you a run look and you're able to check into a run look, but you're only able to get 2 yards out of it, and I'm talking light boxes. I'm talking the defense gives you a 6-man box. You need to be able to get 6 yards out of that, not 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So do I think that hurt? Yeah. And I think it was pretty evident in the playoffs. I mean, outside of the Colts game, it was pretty evident in the playoffs. Like, couldn't run against Baltimore, couldn't run against Kansas City. But then again, like, is it the end-all, be-all? No, because look at what fucking Kansas City does. How many – you think their run game mattered all year? You know what I mean? They were efficient, but they were efficient throwing the ball. And when defenses gave them run looks, they were able to capitalize on it. They were able to pick up first downs. They were able to run the football better that way. So
they're more of like a lot of screen type of.
Well, that's again,
with those running backs.
The thing there is that they can do that because the amount of speed they have allows them more margin of error, like, in that regard. And plus you got, Travis Kelce is one of the best tight ends in the game, if not the best tight end in the game. And he's a matchup nightmare for anybody. Same with tight. So like, the weapons they have are matchup nightmares. So regardless of how you play, like, okay, it's its own coverage. We're able to find the gap. Like, the Bills really had to play a perfect offensive game, and they had to be efficient, and they just weren't. But again, you can then design your defense to say, we're going to be aggressive. They didn't blitz a ton, but they were able to play a ton of aggressive man coverage. They were able to win with 4 rushers rushing the passer. And when they did blitz, they were able to contain and play the man coverage behind it. Mm-hmm. And, that was a big factor in the game. I don't think Allen ever really felt comfortable in the game. So, it's just one of those deals that you could put the loss on Josh Allen. I guess if you want to, you can. They only scored 5 points less than what they averaged all year. They scored 29.1 points on average all year on offense. and they scored 24 in this game. KC scored 38. You know how many times Kansas City had teams that scored more than 38 points against them all year? Once.
That was
one time.
Yeah, Raiders.
Oakland,
Yeah.
Raiders, Vegas. You know how many times they had teams score more than 30 points against them all year?
Probably
3 times.
3 times.
2 of them were the Raiders.
Yeah.
And the other one was the Carolina Panthers, who scored 31 points. So Carolina mustered one more touchdown than what the Bills had against Kansas City. So really, it's pretty much on par for performance against that defense.
Yeah.
You just didn't get one of the Pat Mahomes games where he had, almost interceptions, you know what I mean? Or turnover-worthy plays that were capitalized on. It was we're a fucking juggernaut on offense, and we're going to show you, and they scored 38 points. There's only one game this year that they would have lost because of that, and that was the game they did lose this year when they played Vegas. So, it's just one of those deals that I that's why I wasn't very confident going into this game, because they've lost one game in 25 games. Pat Mahomes is a good quarterback. Like, obviously, I think people are pumping him up to be like
the next GOAT.
Right. And I just look at it and go, yeah, all he has to do is just fucking throw it to Kelsey or Tyreek Hill. Right. You know what I mean? Like, dude, what else do you need him to do?
Yeah. I was going to bring that up. I mentioned before we started, as much as I don't really care for these national sports media guys, Stephen A. Smith was saying something the other day about, like, if Watson had Travis Kelce and Hill, he would do the same or he would be Patrick Mahomes, basically. And, like, I think they're 2 different quarterbacks, so they're both great. But I like, to an extent, what he's saying, I agree with. Like, I was telling the owner of my gym the other day, I'm like, dude, I think Hill and Kelce are so elite that it's I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens when in 2 years, whenever the band has to split up, like those years Mahomes doesn't have these elite guys. They do tend to draft pretty well, but they keep going to the Super Bowl. They're not going to be in a position really, unless they find these dudes in later rounds. But I want to see when they lose that speed a little bit, and that just veteran talent, if he can maintain the same level of stuff, and then like, so let's chill on the GOAT talk, because it's gonna be really hard for someone like, looking at what Brady's done going to his 10th Super Bowl, it's gonna be really hard to fucking see that ever again, I feel like. So let's pump the brakes there. But yeah, it's not taking anything necessarily away from Kelce or from Mahomes. However, dude, they have so much talent. Like, when he got drafted there, they were fucking already on their way. You know what I mean? So
right. I'm not going to sit here and hate on Pat Mahomes, because I think he's an outstanding quarterback. The plays he makes on structure and his
brother are fucking annoying, by the way.
It is what it is, bro. Everybody's got siblings like that, I feel like, or family members like that. So, but my big thing is that he makes plays out of structure. Yeah, some of the stuff that he's able to do, like, there were 3 incidents in that game where the Bills could have absolutely made a play on Pat Mahomes, and he was able to. The one where he was wrapped up falling to the ground and he just throws it into a void, and there's Travis Kelce. Here you go. Right. That takes arm strength and understanding of what's going on.
Yeah. That's chemistry of your teammates for sure.
But he missed some throws.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill's running wide open, and he missed a wide open Tyreek Hill. Like, it happens. Josh Allen makes that play. It's, well, fucking Josh Allen's terrible. It's right. Pat Mahomes makes that throw. It's, oh, well, they're just going to make a million other throws and you're going to forget about it. You know what I mean? Like, if it's pitch and catch like that. So, like, I don't know. I think you're telling me if you put Josh Allen on that offense, they're not in the Super Bowl?
Right,
sure?
Right. Yeah. They got.
I don't know. I can't say that for
they're
sure.
Talented. They're talented. Watson, I could definitely say that for sure.
But
it is going to
put Aaron Rodgers on that offense.
Oh yeah,
they're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. It's interesting. That's what makes the Super Bowl interesting, though. A couple things. We mentioned Tampa Bay's defense. I think they have a defense that can maybe slow down their offense a little bit. I don't know what Todd Bowles is going to do. I mean, even obviously his stint with the Jets didn't go so well as a head coach, but he's always been known for having really good defenses, and it's kind of shown right now because obviously I would argue that they're in the Super Bowl because of their defense. And, also to go along with that, the first time ever a Super Bowl is being played it's a fucking home game for Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. Like what, So, and Florida don't give a fuck. There's like 22,000 fans that are supposed to be at this game, right? And I feel like it's going to be a bigger difference than anybody is really bringing up right now because, there were some fans allowed at games, but going a whole season with basically no fans to very little amount of fans to 22,000, being a home game, I think is an advantage for Tampa Bay. It might not sound like it, but I feel like it's got to be, like
it's got to be somewhat
from like getting the calls in because like you'd hear shit on the field, this whole season. So like this is gonna be the first game all year where like you got to play like a normal game, and like there ain't no way to really practice that, right? So I don't know. I'm interested to see if that plays a factor or not.
It'll play a factor. It played a factor. It absolutely played a factor in the AFC game. The Bills finally had fans in the stands at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But so they got a taste of it, but it wasn't. They didn't play maybe one game all year where they had to deal with opposing teams' fans.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's Miami, which all three of their fans showed up for that game. So like. Well, how big of a deal was that? That doesn't give you any practice. So,
right.
Like it might be a big deal, but it's also going to be a big deal for Tampa because I don't think it's all going to be Tampa fans. You know what I mean? Actually at that game, it's going to be a mix. So,
could be.
I think honestly, with that being said, that matchup is going to be. It's gonna be fantastic. Like, what happened like before when they faced off this year? Tyreek Hill went bananas in that game. He had like 280 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns or something like that in that game. Like it was unbelievable.
I don't remember what week that was they played.
It was earlier season.
Because that's what surprised me about the Bucs is like even though they only lost like 5 games, it seemed like. That's why they were like when I said they were sneaky good a few episodes ago, I just wasn't paying attention. I was like, oh, they're still winning games, and they hit their stride at the right time. And like, I'm interested to see what Bulls dials up with Kelsey because like I think they have the linebackers in the D line. I mean, Vita Vea is going to be fucking. I mean, he played. He's going to be healthy. I expect Antonio Brown to be back, but I don't know much about the receiver. Who's the receiver that caught that touchdown pass at the half? He actually had a couple catches in that game. White dude from Tampa Bay.
Scotty.
Where did he play at?
Oh shit!
He's a younger. Is he a younger guy? Has he been in the league well? But I mean, dude, he looked.
A few years, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he was playing for Antonio Brown, but like he looked pretty fucking good. Like I expect Evans to be having that extra week off, be rested, and everybody, Godwin, everybody. So I don't know, man. I think they're going to have to continue to get good play out of the defense, which is hard going against Kansas City. But I know everybody's probably picking Kansas City automatically, but I think I'm rolling with Tampa in this one as an upset here.
No, I'm going to go Kansas City. After what I saw, they can accomplish offensively. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers were able to put up what was the score of that game? They were able to put up.
They were able to come back, yeah.
Yeah. I think Kansas City can put up fucking 40 on them. I really do.
Yeah.
That they're clicking all the way to a point where I don't know how you stop them. You're not going to stop them playing coverage.
I'm kind of getting a 2000 fucking. What was that, 7 or 2010, New York Giants, New England vibe, dude.
I mean, I can understand that. I can't see it, dude. I really can't. Can't. Kansas City's just too explosive, man. They really are. And now you got 2 weeks to get Pat Mahomes, who
I
was
just like
had
to
a
root for the
toe.
underdog.
No, I get it, man. I don't know who to root for in this game. I mean, I do. I'm going to probably root for Kansas City as much as I don't want to. I'm probably going to because I can't see Tom Brady win another one. It would hurt my soul to do it. And I just can't. I can't root for Tom Brady in any capacity.
I figured.
So yeah, I think, but I do think Kansas City wins this one. Again, I feel like they beat the brakes off that defense earlier in the season, and
I'm picking Tampa, and I'm picking the over under for the tiebreaker 59. Not that there is no tiebreaker, but 59 points is what I had in mind.
Yeah, there would be no tiebreaker on this one.
There won't be. I just naturally did it. 28-31 Tampa. That's my score.
I think it could be close. I mean,
it could be high right now. I'm not, but
it could be. It also could be a 10-point game. You know what I mean? Like, who knows?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what we get here. But dude, pumped to watch. By the way, I think I brought it up to you. Remember the podcast I listened to, Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer? It's Two Bears, One Cave.
Yeah.
So they always do. They've been doing live streams, so they can do whatever the fuck they want when they do the pay-per-view. It's like $10 to rent, right? So they're doing a special for the Super Bowl. So they're going to be on air as the Super Bowl's going. I'm buying it for the record. And they flirted with this before the season started about doing like a football podcast with Warren Sapp, because Bert had a connection with Warren Sapp, and obviously it didn't pan out. So they're having him on, and they're calling it Two Bears, One Sapp for this special. And I guarantee you, they always do like packaged shit they shoot beforehand too, to kind of like play like during the stream. I guarantee you it's going to be fucking hilarious, because they're gonna be able to ask questions to Warren Sapp and like shit about the NFL that like nobody else talks about, because it's going to be fucking R-rated, like, you know, anything goes, and it's going to be fucking hilarious. So I'm ordering that bitch as I watch the and listen to that as I watch the Super Bowl for sure. Like, I'd rather listen to that than like the actual like announcers during the game. So it's going to be interesting.
You probably get some like interesting insight and stuff there.
Oh, and then they always have guests come on, so they might have some more NFL dudes pop in there. Like, who knows, dude? But they're getting fucked up the whole time. So the dude, it's going to be a good time. I would suggest anybody who's a football fan or just a fan of a comedian, especially Tom Segura or Bert Kreischer, to rent that bitch, because it's going to be funny. I've rented 2 of them. The last one, because of Tom's accident, wasn't as great, and they had technical difficulties, but the first one was hilarious. They went to a dominatrix. That was one of the shit they filmed, like to add in as a package. They went and saw a dominatrix person and like just doing a bunch of weird shit, and it was fucking hilarious. So it's off the walls, but it's great. I love that comedians can do that shit. But that's what I'm doing for the Super Bowl.
Probably the way to go. I always like those like interesting, like different viewpoints. As far as that goes. So,
well, and Warren Sapp's always been known to be kind of a dick. So like, he's definitely going to fucking throw somebody under the bus. It's going to be great. You know?
Oh yeah.
Like, he talks shit about The Rock all the time. Like, he's like, The Rock did. He's like, I took his job, you know? So.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
It's going to be good.
Yeah. That'll be real fun to listen to. So,
before we go, you said that is the Senior Bowl this week?
This week, Saturday.
I saw some. I haven't really dived. I got to dive into it and see like what's going on. Because I saw like some photos, and then that's what like made me think about bringing it up. So, and I saw, I think, Najee Harris. I can't remember. I don't know why he would have to go anyway. I don't know why. If I was him, like, why go? If you're anybody from Alabama, why fucking go to the Senior Bowl? Like, who cares? Like, people fucking are going to draft you regardless. But what day is that game? Do you know?
I think it's Saturday.
It is Saturday? I'm going to try and find that. And
they've been practicing all week, so
I wonder what time is that, do you know?
I'm not sure what time it is.
It's got to be an earlier game, probably like noon. I would imagine, something like that, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, I'm down to watch that. We can break that down.
For sure, man. I'm pumped. I
because there's a lot of players that I'm not even familiar with. Like I said when we broke it down and did the early mock draft, I'm not even familiar. Like, this doesn't seem like a draft that has a lot of edge rushers in it either. Like, I haven't heard anybody this year being like an elite edge rusher.
Right.
That's a senior or an upperclassman coming out.
Well, you can always find some pretty solid gems in the Senior Bowl. You know what I mean? And it's going to be one of those that I think personally for me, because I haven't had an opportunity to really dive too much into the draft prospects so far this year. I absolutely am excited for that. So gets me a little bit more familiar with some of the guys and how they compete against some of the more, some of the better or more productive competition there is. So
yeah, I think this is actually probably going to be a more important than any other year, just based on what you said and like how different the combine is going to be this year. It might have more, it just might be more important overall, just based because of the pandemic. I would imagine there's going to be players playing in that game who maybe played in the Pac-12 who only played like 3 or 4 games, so it might be super competitive this year. So I'm looking forward to watching that and seeing who sticks out, and we can compare our notes next week on the show. I think that'd be dope content.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
A week from Sunday is when we'll, obviously be having a Super Bowl. So unless some crazy news comes out this week regarding NFL stuff, we might not have a lot to talk about. So let's break down the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, for sure.
For the record, you're supposed to chug a beer, but we can save that for the Super Bowl. Maybe we'll both be chugging beers.
Fuck it, I'll chug some beers. I thought about it today, and I had run out of my Blue Moons that I usually stockpile here for this very occasion.
Yeah.
So we start the podcast. I'm like, shit, I did not buy any more beer, so I'll just have to wait. But that's I'm okay to do that.
That's cool. I'll make sure. I might lose. The chances of me losing this Super Bowl is probably pretty high. So
it could be.
We might be chugging beers at the same time to end the season, to end the beer chugging for this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna find out. I'm excited for this game. I hope it's a game. I hope it's not fucking. I hope Kansas City's not so elite they blow them out.
Yeah, I agree.
I just want to watch a close Super Bowl, a close game, and see if we get another team to go back to back for the first time since 2003, 2004, or your boy Tom Brady maybe winning another Super Bowl and sailing out on a fucking yacht to the sunset, retiring finally. So
please don't win the Super Bowl, Tom.
Shit. But yeah, I think that's all we got for the day. We kind of wung it. We're kind of winging it, but season's coming to an end. It's the saddest part of the year.
As news filters in, we'll be able to dive a little deeper into some of the things that happen.
Probably be continuing this the draft outlook. I know we got the combine coming up.
Yes,
and most of the talk going forward is probably going to be with draft picks and kind of what we're seeing and stuff. And from an eye's distance, being armchair quarterbacks, we're going to, give our own opinions. So if you want to follow us, you can do that at AJXO Pod on Twitter and TikTok. And individually, you can follow me at Justin_Maxim.
And you got me at BillsFan53, B1LLSFan53. So definitely give us a follow. Pretty active during the workday. I'm not that active, but if I have breaks, I can be. But try to stay active on the old social media and try to get stuff out for you guys if you don't see anything. So
I'll try to create some ideas and just kind of post some stuff as we wind down here in the off season. So we'll figure it out. We'll get some stuff created. So until then, we'll talk with you guys next week, and y'all be sweet.